Hello, everyone. My name is Trisha Rosevear. I'm the CMO of Zoom Give, and today's webinar is all about getting ready for Giving Tuesday. It's coming up. It's on December 1st this year, and it's a very exciting event. I'm glad that you're joining us because today we are going to be looking at really what's it going to take to have a successful event. Zoom Give is all about simplifying the fundraising process. It's not just a tagline, it's our promise. And so what we've done is identified 4 tools that we think are really important for you to have in your Giving Tuesday toolbox, if you will, that are really going to help you, one, understand how to do it, put a plan in place for it, actually give you resources that can make your brand look amazing for this event, and then how the digital fundraising platform that is ZoomGive can help you maximize the donations that come in that day. So we're going to be talking about this for about the next 30 minutes. And so welcome to every nonprofits on board here. We're excited to have you. So the first question is, what are other successful nonprofits planning for? What are they doing as they come into this Giving Tuesday event? First of all, they're setting goals. It's not enough to say we're just going to go in, we're going to put everything into it and ask people for donations and hope that works out. You need to be very strategic, and we're going to talk about some of the different plans and some of the different goal settings that you can put in place. You will be utilizing digital fundraising across all of your platforms if you are a successful, like on-the-go savvy nonprofit. And that doesn't mean you're a big nonprofit. It just means that you are open to technology that's going to help you maximize your ability to generate donations. Sharing compelling stories and visuals. We're going to get into that and what that means and how this really plays in as you go into this day. They're getting specific about their needs and their donation asks. It is no longer the time to just say, hey, support X, whatever the name is can you give to give this many meals, to shelter this many dogs, to help this many children? And even more specific than that, you can have several campaigns going on. So we'll also look at that. What does that mean to share compelling stories and visuals, getting specific about what it is that you need, and really combining those two so that they come alive in a story. The other is including the donor in the experience. Yes, donors want to be included. They want to feel like they're part of the program. And there's going to be a lot of wonderful organizations, and not to take away from everybody, but people want to give to several. This is kind of a big deal. And so including them in the event, helping them to feel like they're part of it and that they're actually on socials with you and they're helping to promote it. We'll look at that and kind of explain and dive into that a little bit. Creating a communication and a marketing plan. And that sounds kind of ominous and scary, but really all that means is how are you going to start messaging for Giving Tuesday? It is not enough. It is not about doing it on that day. There is a lead in. So what does that look like to put plans in place to talk to your audience, to talk to your existing audience, talk to your, maybe retired audience, people that haven't really been with you for a long time, but they gave at one point, and then also attracting a new audience. And they're starting now, because while December 1st isn't here, it's still a month and a half away. That time goes quickly. And when you start thinking about the planning and the strategy and the different things that you need to create, as well as the beginning of communicating that plan, now is the perfect time to start. So we're really glad that you're here with us today. So let's just get really basic. If you've already participated in Giving Tuesday, you already know this, but if you're new to the game, you're wondering, so how do I participate in Giving Tuesday? Well, the first thing you do is you go to givingtuesday.org. This is the organization, the nonprofit organization that handles all the aspects of this movement. And all you have to do is go on their website and join the movement. I just took a screenshot of that here. So you would put in your information, it's free, and now you're part of the roster. Of course, they're not going to do anything more than that. That's where we come in and we're going to say, okay, how do we put a step-by-step plan into place? But this is the place to start. This is truly step one. Now you're ready to go, okay, so how do I really do this? What am I going to do? What's a step-by-step guide? And we're going to talk about each step. If you've downloaded this already, I sent this out. If you are a current client, if you are somebody that has received materials from us, You've received this toolkit probably, and you may or may not have looked at it, but what I'm going to do is go through it and just add more color and add more information as we go through. Step one, set your fundraising goals. So this is much bigger than we just want to raise this amount of money. What we're talking about is a lot more granular than that, and there's a good reason. So fundraising goals are, okay, how many returning donors do we think that we can capture, that we'd like to capture? How many recurring donors would we like to encourage? That's monthly giving. What about volunteers? How about social media follows? And you might think, well, how am I supposed to do that? What setting goals does, it allows you to pivot if something's not working. And that's why starting early is good. Say that you start a couple weeks early and you put some social media graphics out there and you get 1 like. You might want to go back and look at it and say, is this not, it's not compelling enough? Is the message wrong? Is the visual not really that eye-catching? And then you can change it. So all of this is this process of giving yourself enough time and putting these goals in place of going, we really want to have a new level of followers on social media, newsletter subscribers, whatever it is. We've just laid out, these, I don't know, 10, 12 points, but sitting down with your team and saying, what is it that we would truly like to accomplish? Maybe it's getting visibility for your nonprofit, making sure that people know who you are, making sure that if you haven't really done a great job in the past of getting out there and promoting yourself, that you are setting the goal that you're going to come out strong, looking very consistent, that your brand is really going to show up. I have about 25 years in branding and marketing, and so brand is very important. And brand is not for the big organizations. Brand is whether you are a 2-person, 1-person organization, all the way to the multi-million global organizations. It doesn't matter. It's about showing up, communicating effectively, and getting people excited about what your cause is and who you are and what you stand for. The next thing is creating that game plan. So when I say game plan, it's just pretty simple. Again, it's gathering your team and saying, all right, what's the schedule that we think is going to be realistic? How can we, task divide and get everybody on a different portion of the program, from designing, from messaging, from who's going to do newsletters, who's on social media, and maybe it's 2 of you, maybe it's 50 of you, whatever it is, having that team meeting and really rallying everybody and getting them excited about those goals. This is the time to go over those goals and now go, all right, how do we start to put this into place over the next, now we're about a month and a half out, the next 6 weeks. Getting a budget together. What can we spend? All the tools that I'm showing you here today are free. So from, of course, starting with the givingtuesday.org, the Zoom Give Toolkit. I'm going to show you a fantastic resource that we utilize here at Zoom Give called Canva that is free to nonprofits, and then Zoom Give's digital fundraising platform, which is also free for the next 3 months for nonprofits. So everything here should cost you anything. So the only thing that you'd be looking at maybe from a budget standpoint is, are there any kind of incentives? Are there any kind of additional kind of tangible things that we'd want to give away? But if not, you can really do this Giving Tuesday with a fairly minimal budget. Timeline, we talked about that. What is that timeline for communication? What is the content calendar? So we're going to get into what that means. That's basically gathering your stories and your visuals and how you're going to message that on your different platforms. A stewardship strategy. That stewardship basically means how people giving, helping them to give, right? So you're stewarding them. And that just means, how would you like to ask them to help you? Do you need volunteers? And do you need people to help promote you in addition to the giving portion? So what does that total stewardship program look like? And then an all-in-one fundraising platform. Digital platforms are really the key now. It's digital fundraising that is going to take you to the very next level. And again, it's across all of your platforms. If you are currently part of our Zoom Give community, you may have been using us, and maybe you've used us on some of your platforms, but not all of them. I really encourage you, this is the time to get every single one of your channels, and we'll talk about what those platforms are, just ready and equipped with all of your digital fundraising information. That's your text to give, your QR codes, your link that all takes your donor to this fantastic experience, which is the giving process. Donor fatigue is real, not just from the sense of, too much ask, But from the giving standpoint, we've had so many, just so much feedback of people going, it's so hard to give. Because we've done our research on the other side as well, of like, what is the giving experience to nonprofits? And we hear over and over again, it's frustrating because I want to give, they got me, but now I have to go over here and then this takes me to another website. And sometimes it actually doesn't even look very professional. And so that credibility kind of starts to go down. So what a digital fundraising platform also does for your brand is it just brings that stature, brings that credibility, and really just makes the donor feel great about giving to you and giving through this process. Okay, building a campaign theme. You don't have to be a marketing agency to do these next few that sound all kind of marketing jargony speech. Building a campaign theme just means, okay, again, get that team together and do some brainstorming. What were some of the ideas, some of the words, some of the stories that came out of 2020? You're probably going to come out with a list of maybe 5 to 10 words. And from there, you're going to look at those words and you're going to say, do we have stories that really exemplify this word? So is it compassion, inspiration? Maybe it's survival, understanding. If you can isolate several words that you feel like this really captures who we are, you know, what our stories are going to be about and how we want to make people, you know, really relate to us. Now you've got the beginning of a campaign theme. And then it starts to build from there. So you say, okay, so my idea for campaign visuals then, my ideas for a tagline, all that means is, all right, I've got some words here. And these are the ones that really stand out that I think reflect, you know, who we are. Is it about kindness this year? What are the stories that match with that? And do you have pictures? If you don't have pictures, there's plenty of stock photography that you can get for very inexpensive or even free that is going to be able to bring that story to life. And then your ideas for a tagline really is just a description. So if, you know, if your theme is compassion and you have all of these different fantastic stories of people in spite of hardship really just stepping up and showing their heart and helping your organization, or the recipients and the compassion that people are just pouring out on them and how it's changing their lives, whatever the cause is. And your ideas for a tagline could just be something as simple as sharing compassion through a hard time. Or, I mean, I'm just making this up. The point of the matter is it just starts to build. It's kind of like a snowball where you get that and you start packing ice around, you start packing snow around it, and now it starts to grow. So building a campaign theme, okay? So this is us just continuing now. So you see 2 examples here that look really great, right? A little kindness can have a big impact. So this is an example of started with a word, right? And then it started with some stories and some reasons that they feel like connected to that. And now they've brought that together with a little bit of a descriptor that says a little kindness can have a big impact, and they decided to put some visuals around it. And the next thing I'm going to be showing you after we go through this toolkit is this really easy way to actually create these graphics that is beyond easy. You're going to be amazed if you haven't heard of them yet. So these are just a few examples of how your campaign theme starts to grow and build and how you bring that to life. Now you have your campaign narrative. All right, so narrative just means your talking points. How are you going to talk about this? Stories are what are compelling. You know, again, thinking of that, what is the middle of your compass? It's the words, it's that word, it's the stories, it's the visuals attached to that, it's the description that you want to convey, all those types of things. And so now it's about writing those stories out. They don't have to be long, but how are you going to be able to go here, or, you know, maybe you have 2 great stories, maybe you have 100. However many you think is appropriate, write those stories out in a concise way that you now have them as collateral that you can say, we're going to send out, you know, an email every week, or we're going to send out a newsletter next week, and we're going to include some of these stories. We're going to put some of these stories on social media. In fact, we're going to take one of these stories and, you know, you as the director or different people in your leadership in your organization can actually just on your iPhone record, we have a story we just want to share with you that was really amazing. And so now you've got a video. So it's about creating different types of what we call collateral so that you can share your stories. So think about, how do you want your donors to feel when they read your stories? Do you want them to feel inspired? Do you want them to feel happy? Do you want them to feel like kind of concerned? What is it that you want them to feel? Think about those words. Think about the stories that you have to share. And just like, again, another link in the chain of helping this all come to life. Examples of stories are, I have here at the bottom, stories of clients, staff members, board members, stories of a volunteer, stories of different programs, different projects that you achieved, and how you've really been dealing with and pivoting and surviving through this COVID. People want to know. We're happy that you're here. So people want to celebrate with you in that. And so all those different types of stories will be relevant and will be very helpful for you in creating content for Giving Tuesday. Gathering inspiring visuals. So it's not about being perfect, it's about being authentic. So really, you can use, we say steer clear of stock photos and video as much as possible. If you do have to go with the stock photo, get something that really looks authentic and something that just isn't perfect, that it's a little gritty, that looks like it's actually a photograph that someone might have taken, because being polished is not what you're trying to convey. Being authentic is what you're trying to convey. So if you have your own visuals, all the better. If you don't have to panic. You can take some photos if you can, or you can actually find some great stock photos. And again, just using your iPhone for photos or for videos is just perfectly fine. So some of the different types of templates that you're going to want to do are an email template that you can put a video in, social media. There's my little pro tip. You have the link right in here. So it's Canva. It's free for nonprofits. We're actually going to look at that together, as I mentioned. Putting together some newsletters and making sure that they all look consistent. So if you have a theme and it's all about compassion, and now you have these compassionate stories, you've got a tagline, that kind of descriptor around that compassion, and now you've decided, you know what, I'm going to bring the idea of compassion to life with the color, I'm just making this up right now, purple. And so how do we want to show that compassion? What are our brand colors? How does that work with how we show up as a brand? You can see with the Giving Tuesday example here, there's a text build to this number. And that's the type of collateral we're talking about. This is a sign here, helping foster kids thrive, and there's a scan to give. So your QR code can go on anywhere. It can go on websites, it can go on printed materials, postcards if you're mailing those out, as I said, newsletters, as well as your digital. You can put your text to give and all that good stuff. All right. Scheduling ahead of time. So one thing that you can do on ZoomGive is when you're on the platform and you're creating a campaign, you can actually go in and schedule all your messaging ahead of time, which is really nice, because then you don't have to be worrying about doing that on the day. And when I say that, I'm talking about text messaging. So we have a text to engage with ZoomGive that really allows you to communicate with your donor via text and just share these short little snippets, saving the date, putting a link to a 1-minute video in there, sending a picture. So this is really important because, again, this becomes part of that communication plan and that strategy of like, okay, these are the dates. When are we going to send the save the date? When are we going to send a reminder? When are we going to send a cool story? When are we going to thank our donors? Because you know what, thanking your donors isn't just about afterwards. You could thank them ahead of time for the support and for helping, support your cause and your organization through this really tough year. And thank them for their involvement. And then you have another right to ask for their donations. So coming through with these different messages that aren't just all the same thing. We have, we're constantly telling our clients, you don't just come out right out the gate and just go, hey, can you give? Because that's not a relationship. But sharing something compelling, emotional, sharing gratitude, and really giving them a reason to be drawn back in emotionally to your brand. That's what you're looking to do. And so again, giving yourself plenty of time over these next weeks as we lead up, you're able to do this and build this momentum with them. So in scheduling your communication, continuing here, save the date newsletter is great. So you can send that via text, you can send this via email. You know your audience, you know where they are and how they communicate with you. But you can see that we've included the donate button and the QR code. Again, if you're utilizing digital fundraising, you're going to have a link that's generated as part of your campaign that you can put behind your donate button on all of your social platforms. In fact, I'm just going to take a few minutes after we go through this and Canva to show you how easy it is. But when you're putting together your collateral, you're going to want to make sure that you always give them opportunities to give in different ways. So just to make it as easy and as user-friendly as possible. So organize your fundraisers. So when we say that, we mean there's a lot of, just like there's different ways to communicate and there's different stories that you can tell via social media and email, newsletters, etc. There's also, you could have several different fundraisers leading up to the event. You can have a social media, an Instagram Live or a Facebook Live that kind of gets people excited. Like, we're on Facebook Live and we're going to be showing you some wonderful things that happen. We're here live, in the field, wherever it is, whatever your organization does. If you work with dogs, like here we are in our facility and we have these amazing dogs. We have some stories just to share with you. But we just invite you to be part and just thank you for being part of it and just get on the ground and just almost like your own personal television show. And it, again, doesn't have to be professional. It's just about utilizing the tools that you have that are free, like Instagram Live, like Facebook Live, that allow you to do that. So going live on social media is a great one. You could create a challenge. Some of the super creative people out there, we all remember the Ice Bucket Challenge. So maybe there's a challenge. Maybe there's some type of, contest. Maybe there's some type of matching gift. This is the time to be creative. Peer-to-peer campaigns. When we say peer-to-peer here, we're saying, how can you utilize your audience, say on socials, to basically invite their peers, their friends. So if you can create a graphic that says, please support, and here's some information, and here's a link to a video or whatever it is, and say, can you share this? A specific ask, because people aren't intuitively going to know to do that. But if you say, hey, we created this little social graphic for you, would you post this on your socials and would you ask people to share it? Now you are tripling or quadrupling your potential for more visibility, for more donors, and for this event. The other thing is sitting down and really thinking about who are your ambassadors, who are people that are like your, not necessarily, they could be your biggest givers, but your most enthusiastic donors. The people that are just, they talk about your brand, they love your organization, they love what you do. Those are the people to invite into a deeper stage of involvement, right? So asking them, putting together a little one-pager and saying, would you like to help promote us for this Giving Tuesday event? And maybe there's something in it for them. Maybe it's something like, stickers or digital stickers or even a t-shirt, whatever you can afford. But the idea is get your big ambassadors on board with you, because not only are they going to be just a fantastic voice, they're going to also help to rally these other people in your organization as they see these different people coming in and saying, help this organization. The voices just start to become, it creates a lot of momentum. So really think about who from your list of donors you can ask to really come on board and help you. And here's just an example of, make a list. Everything, just sit down and just make that list. This is just the strategy of mapping everything out ahead of time is what's going to help you really be successful. So doing a tech check, this is really important. So it's making sure that, so you have your digital fundraising. You've decided that you need a digital fundraising platform because you get it. You want to maximize this across all channels. So you go to your website, you make sure that you've got the link on your donate button, that you've got text to give, text to engage codes, you've got your QR codes, and that everything's working well, doing that testing ahead of time. And knowing who on your team is going to be doing, this is again that divide and conquer, who on your team is going to be responsible for the text messages, for the calls, for all that type of thing. So really putting that in place, again, it's just going to avoid a lot of chaos and keep your whole process streamlined. And then again, testing your video and your audio to make sure that if you are going to go live on that day, which I totally recommend, going live to your audience on Giving Tuesday, as well as before, if you have different pieces of content to share, is great. So just make sure that you are tech ready. And then implementing and monitoring. This is actually from Giving Tuesday. This is just kind of like a little schedule that they put out of what you can be doing. You know, utilize this as a great example, put it, you know, towards your purposes. But it's really to get you thinking about how many weeks out should I be doing email and socials? You know, how many weeks out should I be asking people or sharing stories and then starting to ask or telling them there's a countdown? Countdowns are great. People love countdowns. So social graphics with, you know, 4 more days, 3 more days to give. Remember that you're coming up. So there's after Thanksgiving. Now we've got everybody's on this Black Friday, and we got Cyber Monday, and Tuesday is coming obviously after Monday. So people are spending their money. So the sooner you can be like, hey, it's coming, you know, get ready. We're so excited for Giving Tuesday. We're just so thankful for what we just know that people are gonna pour in and support our nonprofits. So reminding them that that's important 3 or 4 days out before they get fatigued is also a great thing to do. So follow this as just kind of a great way, a great plan, and then just again, build more opportunity across all your different platforms wherever you can. And then of course, celebrating and thanking. I mentioned that, you know, thanking your donor ahead of time is a great idea because you open their heart, you show that you aren't just needy, but you appreciate them and the gifts and what they've already done. And then you can thank them now for what they have just done. And it is sending that follow-up. You know, a personal note is always amazing. And it doesn't have to be a big letter. It can be an email. It can be on a text. Also putting out on social media, on all of your channels, thank you so much. Just like beautiful graphics that just say thank you to everybody that donated. It just really makes people go, okay, they get it and they really appreciate it. And I was really part of something important. So if you're not on board with digital fundraising, I really encourage you to get on board with it as soon as possible for Giving Tuesday. This is the best time of the year to fundraise. We've got Giving Tuesday, you've got Thanksgiving, you've got holidays coming up, and of course then the beginning of planning for 2021. And I'm going to mention this again as we go through it, but ZoomGive is still free for another 3 months. We did that at the beginning of the year because we wanted to help nonprofits during this really hard time of COVID and pivoting away from live events. And so now with all this virtual fundraising, this is a fantastic time to come on board. So let's go and just keep going here. Canva. So you might be thinking, okay, that's all great. How do I do this social media thing? How do I make myself look good on socials? Well, I love Canva. This is actually what ZoomGive uses for all of our collateral creation. This is the site, Canva for Nonprofits. And I'm just going to scroll through here. There's everything that you need. I mean, there's 420,000 templates. So before you get overwhelmed and go, I don't know how to do all of that. Literally, it's as easy as, so here's what you can create. Do you want to create an Instagram? I'm going to click on Instagram. So there's all these templates. You do not need to recreate the wheel, right? So say I choose this one, they're saying, okay, use this template. So all I have to do is either upload my own photo to replace this, or I can come in here and look at photos. And again, let's just go back to dogs, right? So say that you help dogs, you can put that there and you can put your own text. And then you can change the color, the background to your own colors. You can write anything up at the top. It's so easy to do. And you can see how, oh, wow, that's actually starting to look like something, right? And they make it so easy for you. You can either download it to your desktop and then post it up, put it up on your own post, or you can even connect it to all of your different social platforms and it'll go straight there. So it could not be better. But there's all these different graphics, and again, you can go to templates. There's so many different templates under so many different types of categories. And you know what? You can even just create your own. So if you wanted a blank one, you can create a blank one and you can just start at the very beginning. But again, getting to that, how do we make things simple? Utilize what's already been created, and put your visuals in here, put your call to action. If you have a story, just a cute quote, this is going to be a fantastic thing. So this is just an example for, say, Instagram. But Canva is just going to be this place where you can create everything from presentations and Facebook covers, your flyers, infographics, and it's literally all just that easy. And again, free to nonprofits. I'm actually going to be doing a webinar that's all about creating social media and helping nonprofits understand how to do that. Just gets a little bit more in depth than what I'm doing right here using Canva. So if you're interested in that, you could actually just type something in the questions, just say I'm interested, and I'll make sure that you get that invite. But it takes you from I'm not sure what to do to looking absolutely professional. And if you stick to kind of the idea of branding, which is consistent messaging, showing your logo, choosing colors for your campaign, and carrying that out, sharing stories that are compelling and engaging, utilizing photography that is just really going to call attention, you're going to be great. You're going to have a fantastic day. So that's Canva, and I'm just about at the end here, so I'm going to go really quickly. So ZoomGive, as you know, is a digital fundraising platform, and it's all about helping you simplify fundraising, connecting with your donors, and just making the most of your donation potential. So quickly, here's all that we have going on, from text to give, scan to give, text to engage, all this good stuff. But it's very easy to create a campaign. If you are a client and you have been utilizing this, you already know how easy it is. If you are still wondering if you should try it and if it's scary and how it all work, I'm just going to go in 2 minutes and just run through how quickly you can create a campaign. You would literally click create. You would fill out 6 boxes, which will generate a keyword. It'll generate a link. It'll generate, you can put where you want to take people from a custom message to a specific website. You would then come in, you can generate your own branded QR code for that campaign. You would generate your campaign link. Now this is what you're going to put behind your donate button, behind every single button that you have on social media. So now this is your personal link that's going to take everyone to the platform. And where are you going to use that, right? You're going to be ready to start fundraising, and you've got social media platforms, websites, emails, your text messages, newsletters, brochures, signs, postcards, and I'm sure there's more. There are so many places what you can show up for Giving Tuesday and for this campaign to really rock this. So I encourage you, again, it is free. Take advantage of it. We've got relationship managers that when you sign up, they're going to help you. They're going to talk to you about Giving Tuesday. That's what they're actively doing right now. They're contacting our clients and saying, hey, how are you coming up for Giving Tuesday? We've got this toolkit, we have this webinar, and how can we help you really get on board and start utilizing this so you can bring in thousands of dollars? I mean, you know, it's just always the best news when we get the call of, oh my goodness, we can't believe it. We just had an event, a virtual event, and we just brought in thousands and thousands of dollars. This really happened. And we want that for you too. So we are excited about it because we have a heart for nonprofits and for causes. That's why we're here. It's here to help you to make a difference for your cause. So if you want to set up a personal demo, if you're not on board yet, you can just go to zoomgivedemo.com. Super easy. Or you can email us questions@zoomgive.com, or you can call 877-593-1092, and I will include this information in the follow-up email. You're going to get a copy of this recording as well as some slides. So thank you so much. We just want to rock this thing together, to have a great Giving Tuesday, to really maximize your potential and just simplify the process. So thank you so much for joining us today, and I look forward to connecting with you all again soon.